Hello, you're welcome to Gist Arena. All we do is just. We discuss topical, trending, and exciting topics, and we have fun while at it. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy each thrilling moment of just.
Good evening, Doc. How are you doing?
Good evening, Adenika. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Thank you very much. It looks like it's going to be both of us gisting today. I trust that your day has been good.
Yeah, I had an interesting day, although I had to take a trip to a papa, but it was good, at least.
You traveled to Apapa.
Yeah, I did though. I traveled to a papa, It was like I left my base around 7. I got there like around 10. So that's a journey.
That's like Lagos to Ibadan.
I'm telling you. But it was good, at least. What I went.
Fruitful.
Yes, it was fruitful. What I went to do was productive and successful. So yeah, we give
I
God
told
the glory.
one of my friends was asking me. I told my friend that I've been up and about, and he was like, "Where have you been?" And I said I went from Mushin to First Act. He was like, "What? You've been going around?" Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, my journey too was fruitful, so I'm grateful for that.
Oh,
okay.
Bless that.
So today we're going to talk about this story about Anna Obregon. I think that's her name. I hope I got that right. She's a Spanish TV star, and she just revealed that the surrogate baby that people initially thought was hers is actually for her late son. So I'll try to just read parts of the story.
Okay.
So she had a baby by surrogacy in the United States. The baby was born in Miami. So, well, I guess one good thing is that baby will probably have American citizenship. So maybe that's one good thing. So in Spain, it's actually illegal to have a woman give birth on one's behalf. However, adopting a child born abroad is lawful. So Miss Obregon's son died of cancer at 27, and she sees having the baby as her mission. She says it was her son's final wish to bring a child of his own into the world. So she was describing a conversation she had with her son a week before he died. Before her son died in 2020, a sample of his sperm was frozen and stored in New York. So you can imagine she probably has been planning this thing for about 3 years. So the birth mother who carried the baby is reported to be a woman of Cuban origin living in Florida. So Anna's initial revelation that she paid for surrogacy in the US prompted anger from ministers in the left-wing government and sparked a national debate. So the equality minister in Spain condemned the practice as a form of violence against women. So, but the actress sees it sees it more or less like a storm in a teacup, because she's arguing that surrogacy is a form of assisted reproduction that is legal in much of the world beyond Spain. And then they go on to define what surrogacy is. The baby named Ana Sandra will be registered at the Spanish consulate before they fly to Madrid. And she has refused to rule out providing her granddaughter with a brother or a sister. Well, let's see if the Spanish government will put in some legislation to stop her. So apparently the woman is also ethically, adoption by a grandmother could potentially become a problem under Spain's civil code, because under Article 175, you are not entitled to adopt a descendant. However, Anna Obregon makes clear that legally she's the baby's mother, even if she's biologically her grandmother. So while a dead man's semen is regularly used for insemination in assisted reproduction in Spain, it is allowed only within 12 months of a man's death and would involve a widow. So um, someone has one of the a social philosophy commentator, Gonzalo Velasco, says that though there is nothing illegal about what she has done, he believes that there is an ethical issue, that Anna has taken it upon herself to interpret her dead son's wishes, and that is going too far. No child is ever the property of his parents, and neither is a dead child. No mother or father has the power to interpret the wishes of their child. And then Alessi, the son, that's Anna's former partner, Alessandro Lecchio, has declined to comment on the baby's birth. So that's about what we know of the story. So I think I would like to first of all start off with, I would like to go as per the way it is written. First of all, the first issue for me is surrogacy. So she's gone to another country to get a child for her son, her dead son. And the thing is a bit convoluted. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this? And I guess maybe it's a way of managing the grief. I don't know if that's a way of managing the grief of losing her 27-year-old son, because I'm sure it cannot be easy for a 68-year-old woman to lose her son at 27 to cancer. But what do you think about this her plan, or this her mission? Because she said having the baby is a mission. What are your thoughts on the mission?
I think that okay, the fact that because she said, the child has kind of like, made her feel alive since her son died. So maybe, like you said, it was, she did that because she needed something. I think that her son was probably the only child she had, so she needed someone, okay, another child to fill that gap or the vacuum. Okay, so from that angle, trying to kind of like empathize with, maybe sympathize, I could maybe understand what she did. But then again, my concern is bringing a child, into the world now. The child doesn't have a father. I'm not sure she's probably going to, because apparently she didn't even reveal who the mother, of the child is. So maybe the child is not going to, we don't know the contract or the arrangements between her and this Cuban woman. So maybe the child is not going to also have access to a mother. Okay, she just only has a grandmother, and a grandmother is approaching her 70s. So she's old. So what if something happens, to the grandmother? So are you going to now just, what's going to happen to the child? Because I'm not sure she thought about the child before she did what she did. She was probably just thinking of herself and how to overcome her grief, and she was probably not thinking of whatever effect our action could have on a child that is brought into the world without our consent, of course. Apparently, no child consents to being born anyway. Okay, but then in this circumstance now, there's no father. The mother might not have contact with her, as the case may be. The grandmother is old and could kick the bucket or anything at any point in time, or she may live long, we don't know. But you know what I'm trying to say. So what happens to the child if the grandmother, for instance, dies? The child is left to herself. And so I think she didn't, probably she was being a little selfish, thinking just about herself and her grief. And again, like that social commenter or whatever said, the son, although we were not told whether the son also was part of the plan, no, because it's possible, his sperm was frozen before he died. So maybe he was aware. Maybe I don't know. So I don't want to assume that the son was not aware that, the mom was going to do that. But the point is, I don't know. They probably were not really thinking about this child, because now the child practically does not have a father, a mother. You just, brought a child to this world to be an orphan, so to speak, or something like that, in some type of way.
Thank you for succinctly saying what I really wanted to say. It does come across as being a bit selfish, like it's all about her and her grief. There's something my daughter taught me, I think it was last week. I make my daughter read 5 pages of a book every day. So she's currently reading Take the Risk by Dr. Ben Carson.
Okay.
So she said she learned something in the book about the best worst case analysis. That so before you go forward with the decision, you ask yourself, what's the best thing that will happen if I do this? What's the worst thing that will happen if I do it? What's the best thing that will happen if I don't do it? What's the worst thing that will happen if I don't do it? And when you weigh the benefits versus the costs, it should help you come up with your decision. I don't think this woman thought through the action she took, because it seems to be all about her. And I always struggle with people that feel like, oh, we can bend the system because we have money. There's a thinking behind the system, and it leads me to my next question. I don't want to expose it before I go. So it's what the equality minister said, because we know that the birth mother who carried the baby is reported to be a woman of Cuban origin living in Florida.
Yeah.
And so the equality minister, that's Spain's equality minister, condemned the practice as a form of violence against women. And, while we were preparing, I was saying something of, why did she pick a Cuban woman? Why not a Native American, for example? Why not an American that is maybe living in affluence and just wants to do surrogacy as something that she just wants to do out of the goodness of her heart? So for me, my thoughts, but I don't have enough proof to say that this is so. But my hypothesis is that she approached a woman that probably needed money to go and do this thing that she wanted to do. And while you were talking, the part about whether we don't even know if she got her son's consent before getting his sperm frozen. I don't want to think of what will be the implications of not even getting the son's consent will be. So, because for me, all I'm seeing through this is someone that is so bent on doing something that you're willing to just ride over for anything you see that is an obstacle. And my personal belief is that sometimes those obstacles are there to help you stop and think and ask yourself if you're taking the right actions before you proceed, and not just to go like whatever, I'm going to find a way around you. I believe that they're supposed to help us stop and ask ourselves, is this what? So for me, I'm a believer. I believe those are like gates for us to ask, is this what God really wants me to do? Or is it God that is putting these obstacles so that I can think through my actions and come back to Him and get the proper? Because I don't know if she truly dealt with her grief. So is she saying that if anything happens to this child now, she's going to go ahead and find another child and give birth to another and get another child born?
Well, she is contemplating, giving the child a sibling or more siblings. I mean, imagine that. So you're going to bring more children into the world. At that age, at 68. Okay.
Yeah, to fulfill your desire, not because you want to even give a child, because I would think that if you were so brave, it would have been, I would have thought that you want to just go and adopt some child somewhere that's already been born and will appreciate as in that the gesture will mean something to him or her. And then you'll be able to at least pour your love and all on such a child. For me, I would have recommended that over what she did. And, but well, I don't want to come across, but this equality minister's point about it being a form of violence against women. What are your thoughts on that?
That's well, I don't know. Let me put it this way. I don't see it as violence in the sense that these women, I mean, if this person is not under compulsion, it was not compelled in any way, or made to act under duress, if someone, because I've seen people who say it that if they are done giving birth, for instance, they don't mind, being surrogates, to maybe a family who's having issues, or I mean, who's trying to conceive. Okay, so I mean, this is probably done willingly. And yeah, I got that part, where you said that she probably chose someone who needed money. And well, again, I mean, to be truthful, if it's done willingly, if it's not under compulsion, like people, how would I say it now? People go around and about looking, for means of making money, right? And except, of course, if it's legal, because in Spain it's illegal. Okay, so if it's done in Spain, for instance, okay, I would understand the illegality because, I mean, the law says no. But if it's in a place, where, I mean, it's seen as something that is legal and it's a legal way of, maybe making money. And, with reference to the fact that you actually have people who don't mind, doing something like that. So if you have someone who does not mind being a surrogate and, gets paid for it, honestly, from where I stand, I don't see the violence there. Okay. It will probably be if, you're trying to, compel someone, or maybe it's some type of power play or something is happening, in that situation. That's when, I'll probably think there's something wrong with it. But if somebody, I'm also thinking that probably some people even, register themselves, or I don't know the process of all of these things, or maybe at least put themselves out there to say, oh, if you need a surrogate to, I'll be willing to do that. I'm not going to rain on their parade. I'm not going to stand somewhere and say, well, if you want to do it, for free. Do it because it's something you want to help, this family, and don't collect money from it. I'm not going to say that. If it is a legal way of making money in a location or, in an environment, then I don't see the violence there. But of course, and I think that was why she went to the US anyway. She couldn't do that in Spain because it's illegal, in Spain. So I don't, in Spain, they think it's violence. I don't see it as violence because the person did not, was not compelled, to make herself available to be a surrogate. Some people actually do it because they want to do it. But then if we are also getting paid for it, why not?
Okay, thank you very much, Doc. So for me, I really, really would love to understand what agreements are between this Anna and the Cuban birth mother, because for me, I can't really say whether there was violence or not. I don't know if the birth mother was arm twisted. We don't know. We don't have all of the details, but based on what we can read now, it looks like it was just a transaction between them. I personally, I have a challenge with doing things like birthing, anything that has to do with bringing life in or preserving life and doing it as transactional. I feel like it just kinds of rubbishes the thing of the sanctity of life. But if no laws were broken, Well, I guess it is up to the people that decided to. But for me, if I decide to become a surrogate, I don't think I'm going to charge for surrogacy. I don't think it will be something I would want to charge for, because for me, I think I believe in the sanctity of life. So I feel like anything that we're doing that has to do with life is sacred. And so I would want to treat it as such.
That's understandable. Personally, I don't even think I would like to be a surrogate at any
Mhm.
point. And it's not necessarily because of any personal belief or anything. It's just something, not just something that I would be willing to do anyway. But then, like I said, I mean, anyone that wants to do that, because let's be factual, um, there are probably not going to be as many people who are willing to do it, just, I mean, do it like that. So that also now means that people who have the privilege, or sorry, people who would have been able to, have the opportunity or the privilege, of giving or having children through surrogacy, then their chances and their options will be limited if, we say that people should, not pay, I mean, not get paid for that, because I'm sure that when you want to compare the number, I mean, yes, the number of persons who would just do it, out of their, I mean, not out of their free will. Everybody is probably doing it out of their free will. But what I mean is people who just want
They
to
don't.
do it for doing sake, for helping and all of that. We won't have as many people, in that category as we would have, in the other category. So I think it's just what it is at the end of the day.
Okay. Thank you, Doc.
You're
So
welcome.
there's another thing that I would like us to look at. So
Mhm.
the birth mother has given birth to this child, Alessandra, and she's living in Florida. And
Mhm.
Anna Obregon is taking this child to Madrid,
Mhm.
which means that most likely there's going to be they are going to cut off from the birth mother, possibly.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that, really? As in, do you think it's fair, like whatever she was paid, if she was paid, should be is sufficient? Or do you think that it's okay for the birth mother to request to at least still know where her child is?
Mhm. Okay, so again, just I mentioned that, a bit when I was responding initially, and that it's possible, that this child and, the mother would not have any kind of contact based on, whatever contract, they have, or the agreement that they have. And for me, I think it's mainly the effect on the child is what is mainly my concern. It's, again, especially because the grandmother is, she's 68. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. She's nearer to that other side, probably, than to this side, maybe, or maybe not, I don't know, but you understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So okay, so that means that at some point in time, while this child is still young, okay, very young, there is a possibility that I mean, our grandmother will no longer be there to care for her, or even if she's still around, she's grown older, and it may not just, the attention, the care and all of that the child would need may not um be available in the right proportion or right amount. So it's the child that I'm really worried about, because I just feel that the child will be deprived one way or the other. And it would have been good, if she could somehow be in contact with her birth mother, in this case, in this particular case. But then I don't know, I mean, what the contract says. So if the contract says no, and I mean, she signed it, right? So it's again, it is what it is.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. For me, I think my big challenge is the fact that it seems like Spain had put in enough controls, in my opinion, to ensure, to more or less protect children that would have found themselves in this case that
Mm-hmm.
this individual has been put in. And Obregon seems to have just gone over all of that and found loopholes um, to exploit. And it all seems just to meet her own person, what she wants. again, I always struggle with people that are willing to just jump over every hook and all without stopping to ask why were these things put in place. And I don't know. Okay, well, most likely she's divorced from the father of her son, and I just feel like the baby has been brought to be like her property, kind of like she's the only thing the child has, and
Yeah, couldn't speak.
I'm quite concerned about that, honestly, because if unfortunately she turns out to be abusive towards the child, there's no safety net for that child. There is no one that would come in and say, oh, no, you shouldn't treat this child this way. Because I'm of the opinion that there's a reason why God gives children fathers and mothers and surrounds children with other family members. I believe that it's like a safety net so that somehow, there's someone that will pick up something. A good number, I've read a book. I think I read a book of a young lady that was just too difficult for her family to handle. And they sent her to her auntie, that's her father's sister. And it was her father's sister that was able to get through to her because she was able to speak her language. But because for me, the vibe I'm getting from Anna Bregan is that she sees children as property. And it seems like I really hope she got her son's consent before taking his sperm. But if we want to extrapolate, it won't shock me if she did not, because it seems like whatever Anna wants, Anna gets. That's the vibe I'm getting, honestly.
Oh, well, we don't know that because the child also made the wish. So probably, when he made the wish, she said, "Okay, maybe can we?" Oh, wait. It wasn't. She said that it was his last. I mean, the article said it was his last wish, so we can assume that he made that on his deathbed or
Probably
something.
death wish or something. But hey, when people are
But then
dying, they
the
probably
time had been frozen like how many years before then? Maybe 3 years or something. I think you mentioned something like that.
about the sperm getting frozen in 2020. So there's a bit of uncertainty there. Who froze the sperm? Where did that go from? And she said we are hearing Anna's side of the story because it's Anna that said that this is what Alex told her was his final wish.
Well,
so I'm just wondering,
we don't know. That's
true.
true.
Because it was his final wish, but he went to go and freeze his sperm in 2020. So why didn't he by himself do something about the frozen sperm? Why didn't he find a way?
Before he died.
If I want to use my own inner eye, I can almost say the story that Anna is saying is called Zobo, but we don't know.
Oh, well, she just took laws in her hands or whatever, because I feel like even if the child, said something like that, sometimes maybe, the person is dying and, looking back, it would have perhaps said, oh, I wish I had, a child and all of that. That didn't automatically translate to, mom, please go and, get a surrogate or something to give me a child. I mean, that she interpreted, if the son said that, she probably just interpreted it how she wanted to interpret it, because she wanted a replacement or something like that. So at the end of the day, it's still all about her, what I want. I think
right now, she's the only one telling this story. We don't have anybody else corroborating. The son that allegedly is dead. So we just have to take Anna's word for it. We hope she's telling the truth. Another thing that gets me is that there was still the law about the period that the semen could have been used for. It's only allowed within 12 months, and it has to involve a widow. And she went against all of these things to go outside. So it really gets me because yes, it may not be illegal because she was careful with the legality, but the morality of it is something that gets me because she seems to have been playing God, and it's not attractive to me. It just makes I really struggle with people that try to play God in other people's lives. I struggle with it. To be honest,
I get
So
that.
imagine that she features in comedies and all of that. I don't know. It just feels like it feels like a what do you call it? It feels like a darker side to someone that you would have thought to be typically light-hearted. But hey, we learn every day.
Yeah, I mean, because you might want to wonder why would she just go, to all of that length. She had to try, of course, because she couldn't do it here, and then the in Spain again. I mean, you have to. So well, she at the end of the day, I mean, the bottom line is she did not meet any of the criteria, for doing whatever she did in Spain. So she ran to another country, okay, that would allow her to do
How I
that,
do
or to have a wish. And then you would just wonder why would she go to all of that length? Because at the end of the day, if you're talking about maybe grief, yeah, I could, like I said earlier, maybe understand that this child would help her with that. I'm feeling that vacuum and all of that. But come on, there are other ways you could deal with grief. So for me, I'm just more about the fact that, she was probably not even thinking about this child so much, or some other consequences. She was just all about herself. And I think for me, that's the main issue. Like, I mean, that level of selfishness it's not okay, not just too good. I mean, she could have found other ways of grieving and overcoming that rather than bring a child, into a fatherless child now, as the case maybe, and probably a motherless child, because that child may
the
not,
lifestyle that was rendered motherless.
yeah, be in contact with our birth mother. So, I mean, so what's the point? At the end of the day, it was just all about her and what she wanted, and how she could make herself feel better. And unfortunately, there are people like that who don't readily think about the consequences of their actions for other people. Okay, it's just all about them, the pleasure they get at that point in time, or the benefit for them, and everything. And it's like you said, it's not attractive. It's just not cool.
All right. So I think my last words would be the words of Gonzalo Velasco. That's the social philosophy commentator. He says, "No child is ever the property of his parents, and neither is a dead child. No mother or father has the power to interpret the wishes of their child." I think that kind of summarizes the way I feel about this. I feel like Anna Obregon went beyond her brief as a parent in our
Hmm.
desire to interpret her dead son's wishes. I think she went too far. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, Doc.
You're welcome. Thank you too. Oh, all right. Thank you for listening to our gist today. So what do you think? Did Anna go too far? Did she play God? Was she selfish, or do you think that she was right, in trying to fulfill her son's last wish according to her, and um, having, I mean, bringing forth, so to speak, a child for her son, all right, through surrogacy. And again, what do you even think about um, the Spanish government's opinion about surrogacy? They said it's violence against women. Do you think that's correct, or what's your opinion or perspective about surrogacy? Or let me even ask, would you be a surrogate? And if you agree to be one, would you want to be paid, or would you just do it just to help a couple that is trying to conceive? Please do let us know your thoughts, and once again, thank you for listening to us, and until we come your way again, peace be unto you. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Gist Arena. We hope you enjoyed the topic discussed. Please drop your comments and let us know what you think about it. We'll definitely love to hear from you. Until next time, bye!